does not mean America alone, nor does it mean a return to isolationism. It means we prioritize the American people. Well, what prioritizing the American people looks like...
I think we were concerned about arguing for a Trumpian American first policy within the current political climate, and we tried to mitigate that by broadening the definition of what we constitute America first to be.
Before coming to the US, we had a sort of short list of motions, some of which we discounted on the basis that there are different sort of like sensitivities here in the US as opposed to the UK, but I think we still sort of like chose motions that had sufficient kind of controversy to generate interest, intrigue, enthusiasm among an American audience, because a little bit of, repartee is always a good thing.
I think I was able to effectively communicate the arguments I had. I think there are a couple of arguments I wish I had expressed, which just slipped my mind at the time, particularly because side opposition were proposing an alternative paradigm where we put everyone first. And I think it would have been advantageous to us to explain why in a world of limited resources and economic scarcity, that's impossible.
I feel like I learned something valuable from every debate, be it something I take away from my own performance or something that I recognise in someone else's performance that I'd like to mimic in my future debates. I think they're a great learning opportunity, not just for the debaters taking part, but also for the audience listening in. I've been part of that audience on multiple occasions, and I really enjoy watching, people who are sort of, voracious, enthusiastic about topics, and hopefully we've managed to convey that to some degree.
One thing I've learned is how much American debating prioritizes giving examples. I think in the British tradition, it's more important to explain why something is likely to be true or likely to manifest, whereas the US tradition looks to history to find precedent for the arguments they're making. And I found it really interesting to observe how that kind of recourse to examples can be very persuasive, and it might be something I start to include a little more in my own speeches.
Anytime we can do an international debate, it's a success. It's not only a part of the mission of the debate team, but also a part of the mission of the university to be able to engage people and develop the leaders of tomorrow. And so that's what we want to do. We always want more turnout, obviously, and we always want to have more international events as well, but I would call this a success. We're very excited because this is actually the return of the British team since the lockdown. So we have not had an international debate on UNT's campus since 2019. Which is a long time for us because we usually had it every single year. So they closed the tour down during COVID, and it had not resumed until this fall. So we're very excited about that. This debate is not really over what the people believe. It is using a debate as a form of public address. A lot of people told me afterwards they really didn't know much about America First policy. They knew there was an election, they knew it was an issue, they knew it was talked about, but they didn't really know very much about it. In that sense, the purpose of our debate on campus was just to raise awareness about the issues. And we thought it would be a lot more fun if we had the British defending America First and have the UNT team defending globalism. So.